Alright, welcome back to another episode of the OGC. Today I'm very excited. We have a new project. I bought a boat. Not just any boat though. The cheapest inflatable boat I could find on Marketplace. We're gonna take a look at it. We're gonna do some repairs on it. And we're gonna make it seaworthy-ish. I hope. So stay tuned. You're not gonna want to miss it. Alright. This is what we got. 10-footer Bombard Limited Edition. You can see some of the mouse damage there. Some of my patches that I did last fall. We're gonna see if these still hold. There's a couple there. And I thought there was a couple more somewhere. The keel is no longer attached, so we're gonna have to figure that out and attach it. And then I think my first line of attack here is gonna be let's inflate it. And I had to re-glue the whole flooring back in last fall, so it was the black part was completely apart from the rest of the boat. Let's put some water in it and see if we have any leaks that way with the water. If we're good there, then we'll move on to the keel, re-gluing that in. And then I know with the flooring I'm missing some pieces, I believe. Also, I attached these seat holders. I found that seat for like $12 on Marketplace because I didn't have a bench in here, and with the kiddos you need somewhere for them to sit. Of course I'll be on the back with the motor. Anywho, enough about that. Let's get some air in this thing a minute, and I'm not even sure how to do that, so we'll start with that. She doesn't look too bad. It needs to be cleaned up, but it doesn't look too bad at all. I think I might vacuum this out first. Leaks right here. Alright, so I pulled up, we got some leaks here. I pulled this all up. I'm gonna get a little sandpaper, get in here, dry it out. Of course, that was the main leak. And then it seems like on this pinch point right here is the other one. You can see right here. I still gotta pull it up right here. You can feel it where it's not sealed right. Pull that up. This side wasn't as bad. Let's put some glue in there. I got some glue I think will work on that one. Those are the two main. The rest of it looked pretty good. So let's dry it out and sandpaper it, and then show you what I got for glue. Here's what I got for glue, HH66, and she's made in the US of A, of course. So I've got some mineral spirits, a little bit of sandpaper, 220. I'll do that first, make sure it's good and dry. We'll see how this works. Nice to have a little brush with it though. We'll let her sit for a couple minutes. And then we'll apply it and keep pressure on it. It's tacking a little bit there. You can see it, but starting to tack up a little bit. I'll give it another minute, and I'm gonna hold it down. All right, let's try to apply this. All right, let's let that bind together for a couple hours. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Over here a minute, maybe a couple in the back. I saw a couple drips. I'm just going around the whole thing here a minute and double check our seams, I guess. Okay, I got a couple spots here. 2 or 3 here, and then in the back by one of my patches back here. This part underneath. I'm gonna try to just reinforce that. I think there's one more spot similar to this over there. Do the same thing. We're gonna let this dry and I'll get back to you. We'll flip it back over and see if we got, if we slowed down any of these leaks, if you will. All right, I went ahead and flipped the boat over. And while we're waiting for the bottom patches that we did earlier to dry, I went ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and put this in. It just glues up here on the top. We'll get that done, and then we gotta come up with a way. I got some stencils. Just a cheap kit on eBay. I'm gonna try to put our boat numbers on here. Alright, so I looked up, make sure you look up your state's regulations on spacing, but between the letters and the numbers in Michigan, you have to have a space equal to the M. Here and here. So I kind of eyeballed it. We're going to go with that, and then I got to come up with a way to put my registration 24, year 24 updated decal on here, and I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, so. But it took up a lot more space than I thought it would, so. Anywho, let's, I'm gonna trace it with a marker, each letter. Then I'm gonna pull them off, and then I'll paint it with the brush it came with. And then it says let it dry for 24 hours before you deflate the boat. So, here we go. All right, well, I got them on there. And damn caterpillars are trying to crawl on there already. Doesn't turn out too bad though. Pretty happy with that. Should be at least legal for now, except for the tag. I gotta figure that out. I'm gonna work on that next. And then I think we'll let her sit overnight out here and dry. And tomorrow come out, we'll fill it with water again, see what we did there, if we got any fixes on that. And I need to find another slat divider. I'll show you. Well, let me show you. Let me get it on that. So there's wood flooring that goes in here, and they're connected with these channels. It's like an H channel. And I'm missing one of these for the front. There's two small, there's like half of this in the front, and I'm missing one of them because it's got to split the valve here, so it's not a full length like this one is that would go down here. Anywho, I think I'm going to measure this and see if I can't run down to the local hardware store and see if there's something that would be close enough to work. All right, it's the next morning. I went ahead and did it before I got the camera out. I filled it up, did a test for leaks, and we got those fixed. I didn't see really any, which is very surprising. I expected a few yet, but anyway, here's my plan on these decals here. They won't stick to this. They won't stay on very long. And you can buy little, they call them decal mounts. They're like rubber, some type of plastic rubber that you glue on here and then you stick the decal to. Well, it's not in the budget. They're like 30 bucks. So here's my plan. We're gonna take some of this paint that we used, that we know that sticks here. I got a 3x3 square, the size of my decal. I'm gonna paint this up black, real good. We're gonna let it dry. Then I'm gonna stick the decal to the paint, and I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the back of there to help reinforce on it. And we're gonna see what happens, basically. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, there's one coat I just slapped on there. I'm gonna let that dry a couple minutes, maybe 15-20 minutes, and put another coat on it. We'll do 2 coats. These are only 1 coat. They turned out pretty good. And you know, I'll try 2 on this. So let me do the other side, and then we'll come back after the second coat and see what we look like. All right, it came with this oar and these little attachments that screw in. They seem to work. Just trying to figure out how to mount that on there. I don't know if I like it up on this or not, or do we just come up with some carabiners or something to clip around this just to hold it on the side here, because it kind of limits your space to sit then with this up here. So I might try to come up with a different strategy on this. This came out pretty good, just letting it dry a little more. I got the floor out over here. Take a look at what we're doing here. I'm just trying to figure out how this goes together. I'm gonna try to put it in there. I think this is the configuration I'm gonna go for. You can see the little spacers that go in between it. And then there should be 2, but I only have the 1 for up here. I'll have to come up with something for one of these sides here. Seems like I make something, you know, because they're gonna charge you 40-50 bucks for this. And that's just not in the budget. Okay, let me get this in there and see what it looks like. All right, I've been fighting this floor for 15 minutes and it's not going. So I started deflating the tubes and tried again and still can't quite get them. There's not enough space. And I don't know if I have them in right or not. So if you guys know, let me know. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let all the air out of the tubes and see if then there's enough room to figure this out, and then I'll just have to inflate it that way. I'm kind of doing this backwards because I was doing the repairs and everything on the floor first anyway. So I'll let the air out and then we'll see what happens, I guess. That might do it. Let me find something to put in that far corner. Alright, here's my plan if I had one. I'm going to take one of the good long ones here. I'm going to trim it down and hope that it's still long enough to do what it needs to do and give us another one like this. So let me go hacksaw this off. I'll be right back. I got it. Pretty close. Just took my sander, grinded the corners to make it round, and then off the piece I cut as well. So this one's a little shorter, but we got 2 for the front that are factory. All right, let's get these on. I think that might work. Looks like our dividers are working okay. Seats in. Tubes are holding air, doesn't leak, at least at the moment. Even got the keel in the middle blown up. So I think that's gonna do it for the boat at this point. I would like to eventually add some transom wheels, but they're a little pricey and I want to use this thing. We're going to be camping on the lake for a week. I want to use it and just make sure it's a go before I spend any more money on it. So pretty happy with how this is turning out though. Pretty happy with how it turned out. You might notice in the background, there's something on the back of it now. That's right. I've got an old motor that hasn't ran in over 20 years. We're gonna dig into that next and see if we can't get that running, put it on the boat that hasn't floated in since the 90s, and take it out on the lake. Again, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.